Hello and welcome to another episode of the Unwanted Opinions podcast. Jay and I are back on a Monday here to talk to you guys about the new CBA deal that was passed over the weekend, and also free agency started today at noon. So we've got some guys going to new places, had a few trades, rumors, whatnot. Jay and I will break all of that down, give our thoughts, details, whatever. We're going to hit on all of that. As always, huge shout out and thank you to our official sponsor, Tempest and Timberstone Homes. They are the largest and most reliable home builder in the greater Lafayette area. So if you're in the market for a starter home or a custom home, reach out to them. You can reach out to them Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, one of their websites, visit one of their model homes. Check them out if you're in the market for a starter or a custom home. Jay, how are you now on I think it's day 5 with no sports?
Well, it was until today.
Well,
but
any live sports, there's no games on.
True.
Exactly.
I'm lit right now.
Well, I mean, free agency's fun. Yeah, when some people are changing teams, but
big names,
yeah.
Day one.
It's just been a lot of it sucks on like a Thursday night when there's supposed to be two really good matchups in the NBA. It sucks as the NCAA tournament is supposed to start this Thursday. Was supposed to start, I should say. The MLB is at least not going to be until mid-May.
Possibly June.
They said at least mid-May, so we don't even know when that's going to be back.
Golf's getting postponed.
The Masters, I know we don't really talk much about. That's the only time I'll actually watch a little bit of golf is the Masters. If Tiger's on, just weird. And now I saw that what they said, at least NBA, at least 30 days before they revisit things. So that doesn't even mean that they're coming back in 30 days. That just means they're going to look at the landscape of things. Seeing how all this is going and this national crisis, really, I don't see it coming back for a while.
Our hometown
which
put
sucks.
A shutdown to all the bars and the restaurants in town.
Not just our hometown, our home state. Whole state of Indiana.
And the surrounding states. Illinois did it. Ohio did it.
New York did it. I believe California did it as well.
You got news to be looking forward to a whole entire shutdown.
Yeah, could be coming here in the coming days. It's possible.
Hey, our last episode, we said shit's about to get weird.
Yeah, and it is. It's just so strange. It's weird that it seems like it's something that would happen in a movie. Like those movies, like I Am Legend, or
a fictional movie that you don't see
28 days
ever
later
being a reality.
Just a weird.
All it's missing are the weird characters.
Yeah.
Exactly. Are made up in a movie.
Well, now they're trying to give people vaccines. They're testing them on people, so maybe they turn into zombies and kill us all.
Here we go. Yeah, you're an
This
idiot.
really took a turn.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. Before we talk about some NFL stuff, what do you think? Because I've heard they're probably not going to cancel the NBA season because they don't want it to just end just like that.
Agreed, but I saw reports that it could.
I did, but I think they'll try and do everything in their power to continue it.
I'm with you.
Even if they do it without fans for the first few weeks or months or whatever.
But then again, I'm sure the NCAA really wanted the NCAA tournament to happen, and it got canceled. Yeah. So at this point, that's the NCAA basketball's only moneymaker, and they canceled it. So I wouldn't be shocked if the NBA season just ended.
I would, but I would be surprised, but I guess I don't know if I'd be shocked.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I can see it happening, but I don't think it's very likely. I think they're really going to try and do everything, but I don't know. It just comes into scheduling, the draft, free agency, summer league. You got to move all of this stuff back. Maybe this is a act for them to change their whole entire schedule. Maybe they don't try and compete with football as much in October and November and December and whatever.
Drop the
Maybe
games down
because they've talked about even starting on Christmas. Just start Christmas Day, but they would still play the 82 games, but then the finals would end in July instead of June now. It would just push the season back like a month. They would condense the All-Star break. I don't know.
I'd rather them start at the same time and just drop off games.
Well, I
know they don't want to
they
take
can't. There's no way they would have no offseason if they do that. They would, but it'd be very short. And if they don't start the season up until July or August again, like they're talking about right now,
they wouldn't have an offseason. They would start the season at the same time, but the season would be shorter.
It would be a very condensed offseason because they start in October. If the finals are starting back up in August, or the playoffs start in August, you're basically going from the finals.
I don't think you're following what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying then.
They would start the season the same amount at the same whatever date they start the season.
In October, yes.
But play less games.
Yeah, I heard what you were saying by then. I heard.
So how would that be a condensed offseason? That'd be a longer offseason. Or they would just spread out the time frame during the season, and you'd have more days off during the season and have the same amount of offseason.
Yeah, I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I
don't think the owner's going to want to do that.
No, and then that comes into the whole deal with just like the NFL just did their new CBA, the NBA would have to do their new CBA and things like that to get that all taken care of. But I don't know, it'd just be weird. I hope it comes back soon.
I do too.
It sucks because it was the best season. I saw this all a bunch on Twitter. I mean, KD and the Warriors ruined the NBA for 3 years. And now the coronavirus is ruining this season. I mean, what the fuck? What do we have to do to get some good basketball?
We had it.
We did. We had it for like 65 games, and then it all went to shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll revisit the NBA if more news comes out.
But I mean, it was just a crisis that couldn't be averted. So
unforeseen event.
No, maybe it can. We don't know. We'll never know, I don't think. But
the world
life goes on.
Know, Nick.
So, all right, let's just talk about the new NFL CBA because that was just voted upon. What was it? Friday? Saturday?
It was like Saturday night.
Saturday night over the weekend.
Or it might have been Saturday morning.
Because I know it was after we talked on Thursday on here. It was definitely after that. So, I mean, what Jay and I talked about a while ago on a pod where they added one more playoff team to each conference. So that's going to take effect this year. One more playoff team and only the number one seed gets the bye, which is absolutely huge. I love it too. You get one more game on wild card weekend. Exactly.
And the NFL already has urgency.
Yeah, it does. Because, I mean, the games mean everything. You got to play every week for something.
Because every year there's 3-4 teams in each conference fighting for that last playoff spot.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been the Steelers and the Rams would have been the 7th seeds this year in the NFC and the AFC respectively. So, I mean, there you go. 2 good teams that would have still made the playoffs. They just were out and they had winning records. It happens a lot, but yeah, I love that part about it. That's my favorite part about it. I don't really care about the 17 game. I just think
I like it.
I just think it's kind of dumb. I don't know.
Only thing I hate about it is it's going to fuck up stats for like future Hall of Fame and like.
Well, but all the guys they're only going to be able to play 16 games.
Was that voted on?
I'm pretty sure that's
because I haven't heard anything about that.
That was.
I
know
the whole it was
thing
being talked about, but I mean clearly I haven't read 400 pages of the CBA, but I haven't been told anything or read anything that says with the new 17-game schedule, players are only going to be limited to 16 games because what I saw was players are now going to get another game check.
An extra check.
But it's maxed out at $250,000.
Yeah, I did see that.
So that, to me, would mean that they're getting 17 games worth of pay for playing 17 games. I just don't like that because now stats are going to be inflated later. Like a player who comes in next year playing 17 games a season and throws 5,000 yards, it's not going to be the same as someone who did it in 16 games.
Yeah. That's arguments for guy like.
So now
like
someone's
Marino in '84 when he threw for 5,000 yards. It was a lot different than throwing for 5,000 in 2016.
And someone's going to throw for 60 touchdowns within the next couple of years,
probably
because it's 17 games, and then it's just not as impressive, and I just don't like it. That's the part I don't like. But
I just
getting
like
another good competitive game to watch your team play another week, I like that.
I just don't care about it as much. I know that they were reducing the preseason, which they should have done years ago. I mean, the preseason's a fucking joke. They basically have 1 quarter of a game for 4 weeks where you actually see starters.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be game 1, your starters don't play at all. Game 2, they play a quarter. Game 3, they play the first half, and then game 4, they don't play at all.
But it turned into where nobody played at all.
I know. This past year, the Rams.
The Rams did it 2 years ago, and then everyone followed suit because the players loved it so much. The Rams went to the Super Bowl, so everyone thought that was, that's the formula. You rest your guys in the preseason, don't even have them play at all because what really are you gaining from playing in the preseason?
The preseason's more for anyways to look at the bottom end roster guys trying to make the team.
Absolutely, and that's what it should be. So I think 3 games is plenty.
Exactly.
To do that, it's plenty. It's more than plenty. 3 is way. It's because you still get 10 guys on your practice squad even after your 53-man cuts. I mean, you still have 10 other guys that were borderline making your roster. So it's just I like that part about it too. I just don't really care about the extra game. I mean, I'll watch it, obviously, and it'll be fine.
Just gives me more football, and that's what I like.
I mean, I don't really care about it too much. It's whatever.
Agreed. Well, I like it, but at the same time, if it wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have been upset at all.
I just really love the playoff format. I think that's awesome.
I do too. And those are the two big hitters for the fans, from a fan's perspective.
And no more suspensions for positive drug failures.
Yeah, so basically go smoke all the weed you want.
I don't even know why they're testing then anyways.
Agree. I thought the same thing. So they probably just won't.
Yeah, I mean, because it just says no suspension for a positive test, so you will, unless
just throwing out tests just to see who's on it.
Unless your team wants to suspend you. If it's a team rule where you can't do this, I don't know if that will come into effect, because I'm sure that may be a team rule. I don't know.
I doubt it.
It could be.
Because no team is going to want to be at a disadvantage and penalize their team to give them like a strategic loss for something that the rest of the teams are openly doing and not being.
Which I have no problem with. I personally don't have a problem with people smoking weed. I could give a shit less.
Do your thing.
I don't do it, but if you want to do it, go for it.
There's been enough research now that it doesn't really affect you, and as long as you're doing it on your own time and not affecting anybody else, alcohol has a worse effect on people.
I just want to. I don't know if you know this. I didn't see anything. So the people that were suspended for positive tests, are they allowed to come back?
I know where you're going. I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that at all. Like Josh Gordon or Randy Gregory, David Irving, guys that like were just like, I'm done playing because I can't not smoke weed.
Yeah, my guess is they're going to be reinstated.
David Irving literally went on Instagram Live, basically was saying, fuck the NFL, fuck Roger Goodell, bullshit, he can't stop smoking weed, so he's just done. He's retiring at age like 25, and he was a good player.
We'll see. I mean, he might have fucked himself out of the NFL by doing that. But in Josh Gordon's case, just the dude can't stay off of it, and now it's legal.
Yeah.
He's
got a little bit more issues than just smoking weed.
Yeah, it's mental, but...
Yeah. But a guy like Randy Gregory, I think his was only he just couldn't stay off the weed. Yeah. As Stephen A. likes to say, stay off the weed.
Yeah.
But now you don't have to.
I like it for the player side because a lot of them do it anyways, and there's no real disadvantages like to your health for research studies. I mean, I'm not huge into the knowledge aspect of it, but it doesn't really have an effect on the game either. It doesn't enhance your play. So for them to this whole time be using it like it's a performance-enhancing drug.
It's definitely not.
Yeah. To me, it would slow you down.
Me too. Yeah. But that's my feeling on it as well. It would give you the player a disadvantage who's
But using it for the medical afterwards, because those dudes get so banged up during games, and using it for pain, whatever, do your thing.
Helping you sleep. I know it helps people
all
sleep.
All for it.
So I'm all for that too. So that's actually a good thing. That
unless
the NFL
players
did.
unless good players not being off the field.
You know what? Out of all the things, that probably was the biggest from all the players.
I agree.
Was that part of
That's
it?
That's what they wanted the most.
Honest. Yeah.
And I'm sure the owners were like, "Fuck it, have it.
Whatever.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either.
Doesn't affect me.
You're giving me a good product out on the field. I'm still making a hell of a good money.
I'm sure half the owners are smoking the weed.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, Jim Irsay got busted for. I mean, I think everyone knows the story, for cocaine and having possession of cocaine. So I mean, all these owners have a lot of money to do whatever they want with.
Yeah.
So there you go. Prime example of a guy at least who we've seen for years very closely do what he does with the team that we love. So yeah, but
those are the two big takeaways. Three big takeaways from the CBA. Players are getting a pay raise.
It was a really close vote, wasn't it? Like 51.5 to 48.5.
I want to say it was like 1,019 votes yes and like 957 votes no.
I know it was very
like
close. Yeah, but I'm glad it got passed because that means no lockout.
Exactly.
And this goes all the way to 2030, so we get 10 more years of this deal. We'll start to revisit it in about 5.
It's basically like an 11-year deal because this past CBA was to go through this upcoming season, and now they extended it all the way through 2030. So it's a win-win. I love it. I'm glad it passed.
I am too.
They should have negotiated something in there, though, about the referees.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just going to be a problem regardless, man. I know I'm all for having
just
more
like make
eyes,
it full
the better.
Time,
I get
more refs. Do something.
Because human error is going to happen, but it was a lot of human error this year.
Yeah.
It was too much, where we have so much technology where they shouldn't get a lot of this shit wrong. I think the same thing in the
another
NBA.
one that I think is going overlooked, I believe I heard that the CBA negotiated to where there's a neutral judge for cases, to where Roger Goodell is no longer making the fines and penalties and all this shit. It goes to a neutral arbitrator to make these decisions.
So what the hell's Roger Goodell's job?
I don't know, man. I don't really care.
I don't either.
But I think that was...
I think he's unfairly scrutinized to a point.
If I heard and read that correctly, I think that's a pretty good point because he was so inconsistent with handing out penalties. Now you put it in the hands of somebody else. It should have never been in his hands anyways.
Agreed.
And just let somebody else make rulings that are just consistent.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's CBA. Now we can get on free agency.
Yeah, some free agency stuff. Where do you want to start?
God.
I mean,
well, first of all, the GOAT really doesn't have any teams going after him like he wanted to tell everybody he did.
Yep. I told you. It was clout, man. He wanted. I swear. I've texted you this multiple times. I swear it was his people putting all these rumors out.
You did jump on that from
saying there was
the
8
beginning.
teams, and like I said, 8 teams in air quotes. Bullshit. I mean, maybe there were 8 teams that were thinking of the idea of it, but not realistically going after him.
Shit, 8 teams probably could have just said, yeah, he's pretty good, and then he'd have been like, hey, they want me.
But they also were like, look, I mean, why would we give this guy a 4-year deal when we can give a guy who's 29 and just went toe-to-toe and beat me in the playoffs, and Ryan Tannehill and the Titans? A guy like, Teddy Bridgewater, who just went 5-0 with the Saints, who is, like 13 years younger than Tom Brady.
Young enough.
Yeah, I mean, you're just seeing all these guys where they're just kind of moving off of Tom.
Look what the Patriots are doing.
They're nowhere close.
They didn't franchise tag Brady, which I know it was in their little handshake that they couldn't tag him, but they tag a guard, and then they go make sure Devin McCourty gets re-signed. Yep. But yet nowhere in there are they making Tom this priority.
No.
Bill's ready to move on, I think.
I think he is too, but I still think he goes back because I don't know where else he would go. Because right now it says
I've said Chargers from day one. I still think that's on the table.
I haven't seen. I mean, maybe this is just they just don't want to be in the news, but I don't think the Chargers care about keeping anything secret. I haven't seen anything with the Chargers linked to him for a while.
Neither have I.
Or the Raiders anymore.
Gut feeling. I haven't heard anything about
the 49ers said no thanks.
The Buccaneers have publicly said they want, like Arians has said that he would like to work with Brady.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing reports that the Buccaneers are going all in on Brady. But then again, I just got a report before we started that the Buccaneers have been in talks with Jameis Winston still. So who the hell knows? Maybe they just want his cap number to come down, and they're not going to go after Brady. I just love that. I
think it's so funny.
I do too.
I think it's hilarious.
He wishes he had the free agent suitors that Manning had.
Oh my God, yeah.
Agent.
He
Coming
wanted to be
neck surgeries,
wined and dined, and
it's not happening.
No, it's not. He ain't getting all these meetings. He's not getting all these teams saying they want him. He's like the most coveted free agent of all time. I really think that it was his people going out there saying that all these teams wanted him because his first choice was the 49ers, and they flat out just said, no, we're sticking with Jimmy Garoppolo, which is a big shot to the nuts in my opinion. Also, the Titans picked Tannehill over him. I mean, I haven't seen really anything with the Raiders anymore. Like you just mentioned the Chargers. I haven't seen shit with the Chargers in a while.
I've seen more talk about the Raiders wanting a young quarterback in the draft than I have want Tom Brady.
Yeah, because I mean, if they trade or cut Derek Carr, that's a huge cap hit. I mean, that's an astronomical number, and you're still wanting to give Tom Brady all this money, and then you still have to have a succession plan at quarterback because he's 43. You don't believe in Derek Carr, then you're back where you were 2 years from now if Brady comes in and, tries to face Patrick Mahomes twice a year.
I really think if the Colts sign Rivers, Belichick will get back on the phone and try and get Brissett for nothing.
He probably could, and he probably will.
And what's that tell you?
Well, then where does Brady go?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I told you a few weeks ago, I didn't see any scenario where he made a team better.
Oh, I agreed.
Like I said, I don't know. I mean, where was it? I just thought it was New England because, Belichick's carried him his whole career, so might as well carry him the next few years or however long he thinks he can keep playing. But he sucked for the past 2 years.
If Brady goes to a team with a bad defense and wins, I'll eat my words.
I agree.
But
he's never done
happen.
it. He's never done it. Like, I can't see him going to Tampa. As good as their offensive weapons are, their line sucks.
And their defense
is bad. The scheme that they have offensively doesn't really fit what Brady's done his entire career.
Arians wants to throw the ball deep, and Brady can't throw the ball deep.
And their defense, they gave up they were the 31st ranked pass defense in the league last year. They were only 2 in run defense because nobody had to run on them. They just threw on them every single time.
Yep.
So that number is very flawed because nobody ran on them because they didn't need to. So if he were to go there and win 11 games and win a playoff game or two, I'd give him a whole hell of a lot of credit. More than I ever have. But it wouldn't happen.
It's not going to happen.
No. And I just don't see him wanting to go to a small market like Tampa and play there. I just don't at all. I can't see him wanting to move his family and Giselle and all that. I just don't see that at all. That's why I think he's staying. Because I also think he thinks about that.
Whew. Glad I got that off my chest.
Yeah.
Now we can
I just laughed every time the report came out. Titans moving on. 49ers moving on.
Yep. Raiders aren't showing any interest.
Nothing.
Colts never had interest.
No.
Chargers,
the Colts thing was all just media.
Agreed.
Because they had no quarterback. That was just them linking.
And they had all the cap.
Yes.
The second that McDaniels backed out and Ballard said rivalry's back on.
Yeah,
I knew that is not going to happen.
And Jim Irsay's hated the Patriots for years.
Yes.
I mean, the Patriots were the ones that accused the Colts and Jim Irsay of leaking Deflategate.
Yep. Well, the Colts did.
They might have leaked it, or it was
Baltimore.
It was DeQuell Jackson who went to the staff and said that this ball's uninflated, blah, blah, blah.
I think Baltimore
but they
gave
think they
the Colts the
it.
heads up, and then the Colts reported it.
But the thing was, the Patriots thought the Colts planted those balls.
Yeah.
Was the thing, which was false. Anyways, they
people on
cheated,
video fucking going into the with the ball bag.
Absolutely.
Going into the
and Brady wouldn't give up his phone, and you know the whole story
Fuck
there.
Out of here.
So.
Who do you want to talk about?
Let's just talk about the two Browns moves real quick. So they picked up Austin Hooper and they paid Jack Conklin. So two needs for him, even though I thought Njoku was a good player, but he'd been hurt a lot and he really didn't live up to being a first-round pick.
They also just signed Case Keenum.
Yeah, that means nothing.
I know, just backup quarterback.
Just a backup quarterback, but Jack Conklin's huge for him because now you got that right side solidified. Now you at number 8, you go just get the best tackle available there. There you go. Now you don't have to trade for Trent Williams and give up your number 2 or your second round pick.
They tendered Kareem Hunt so they can still potentially have that.
And if someone signs him, they have to give up a second round pick, which I doubt will happen. But
yeah,
I mean the Browns got weapons offensively. That was never the problem. It was just they couldn't block for Baker. And now I think they're going to go to a more zone run scheme with Stefanski in there. Do
you think they trade OBJ? Because I'm seeing.
No, I don't.
I saw reports and people linking it saying OBJ might be next, and then there was just a report that came out that said Browns have no interest in shopping him.
I don't think they trade him. Well, first of all, Jarvis Landry is going to come off hip surgery, which is a massive injury for a receiver, especially. So I don't even know if he's going to be ready for week 1. I think that's the target right now, is to be ready for then. But is he going to be 100% come week 1, week 2, week 3? I think he's going to need some time to ease into it. And if you don't have Odell Beckham, your receiver's what? Rashard Higgins, if they re-sign him?
I was going to say, he's a free agent.
If they bring him in, I know they've just got other needs where I don't think they can afford to let OBJ walk. They would get something for him, but are you going to get somebody as talented as OBJ? Probably not.
No, but this is a loaded wide receiver draft class, so if you could find someone that could be your number 2 to Jarvis with an offense that already has now Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Jack Conklin on one side, draft another tackle on the other side.
Wills, whoever, just throw it in there,
Baker
that guy.
Mayfield. I think you could easily make that offense work and not have someone that just force feeds OBJ. Yeah. I think I would do that and try and get my defense a little bit better, but that'd be just me.
Yeah, because now in the later round, like second, third round, they need to go defense. I think because they lost, you're probably going to lose Joe Schobert. Christian Kirksey already signed with the Packers, so there goes your 2 middle linebackers. I know they like Mac Wilson, but they need to upgrade their safety position as well and the interior defensive line.
And Greedy wasn't great last year.
No.
To play opposite of Denzel Ward.
And he was hurt a lot last year too, so we'll just have to see. But I like those moves that the Browns did. I think those are actual sensible moves that they're making instead of some of the dumb shit that they've done over the past.
I think they finally realized offensive line is a huge need. So
and they paid
bringing in Conklin, and I'm still convinced they're going to draft one of those tackles.
I am too. You shore up your offensive line right
there.
That's huge.
That's on you.
I like Austin Hooper more than you do because since 2017 he has the fourth most catches as the tight end behind Gronk, Ertz, and Kittle.
I just think that stat's a little inflated because
Kelsey,
of how
Ertz, and Kittle, not Gronk.
The Falcons throw so much.
Yeah, he's still a good player though.
Agreed. I don't think he's bad.
I'm not saying he's the best tight end in the league at $11 million a year. I'm not saying.
But the Browns had money to throw around.
Exactly. But that's the going rate. He was a guy who wanted,
especially having David Njoku as your number 2.
Yeah, they got pass catchers galore. For sure. The offense ain't the problem anymore.
Exactly. That's why I say trade OBJ and go get
there's
some
a lot
defenders.
of pressure on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. He has no excuse.
But like I said, I really think that they just kind of switched their whole scheme with Stefanski, kind of like the Vikings did this year. And you saw Kirk.
That's why
Kirk had a career year this year.
I like that they tendered Kareem Hunt. Having a 1-2 punch of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt in a zone scheme like Stefanski's going to bring to them. good luck. Especially now that you actually just brought in a Jack Conklin and could go get a Tristan Wirfs or somebody to play left side.
Absolutely.
The
Browns' offense is going to be really good next year.
Should be. If Baker Mayfield can.
Exactly. There you go. Should be, which I believe Baker's got the talent to do it.
Yeah, agreed. He showed you year one.
Yeah. Okay. You want to move to Cardinals.
I was just about to say the huge
Texans.
trade from DeAndre Hopkins.
Big trade. Today. Big trade.
Cardinals made out like bandits. I love what the Cardinals are doing.
I do too.
I told you in the last pod where we did the NFC West, Cardinals were one of my top favorite teams to watch and who I'm looking forward to going forward. Now you add DeAndre Hopkins next to Larry Fitzgerald, who I know is well past his prime, but still a reliable
he was
pass
still really
catcher.
good last year.
Then you put him where Christian
Kirk
is your slot receiver. Plus you got Andy Isabella, who was a home run hitter last year, and who was the
Hakeem Butler.
Butler, who hurt himself but had a lot of upside coming into the thing. They need a tight end bad.
They do.
Offensive line help bad. That sucks for them that this is not a good tight end class.
What? They're at what, 10?
They're getting a tackle with that.
They're going to tackle right there in the top 10.
Yeah, which they should.
Yeah, then
upgrade
they will.
That offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I love the trade for him. I hate the trade for Houston, but just for a second, I told you, and no, obviously, I didn't know that they were going to trade for. But before they even traded for him, I said that the Cardinals were going to finish ahead of the Rams in the NFC West. This is just assuring me that that I'm dead set on this happening now, them finishing ahead of the Rams in the NFC West.
I'm definitely more on board now. I'm still not 100% sold like it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to happen. The Rams are still a solid team.
Yeah, but man, we'll see.
We will see.
We'll see what the Rams do.
Like I said, I would not be shocked
issues.
if the Cardinals got third place in that division.
Yeah, but I mean, I love this for Kyler Murray.
So do I.
I mean, they've got some money to rework Hopkins' deal, make him happy. I mean, he's a guy that go up and get anything damn near. I mean, he had this, and that's what's so impressive about this guy. I mean, he played with fucking T.J. Yates and Schaub and Keenum and you name it, Fitzpatrick. He played with so many quarterbacks, never complained, went out, did his work, had over 100 catches, 1,000 yards, 10-plus TDs with whoever at quarterback.
Right up
That's
there
like the
with
most
the
impressive thing.
Best hands in the league.
Absolutely. And like I said, he never complained.
Nope.
You never heard a peep out of this guy. I mean, and he was the only good player on their offense for a really long time.
Who did he cook in that video when it was
it
an OTA?
D'Angelo Hall, I think?
Well, it was on the Redskins.
I think it was D'Angelo
I think
Hall.
it was too.
Yeah.
And Hall got
twice.
Yeah. He just lets his play do the talking, man.
Yeah.
He just goes out there and does his thing. And
He's a
there's
baller.
not very many people that can guard that man. So
No.
that great get for the Cardinals. Houston's a shit show.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say.
And also in that division,
I'm sorry, Deshaun Watson. You're going to be the next Andrew Luck.
Seattle's weak point is their secondary and their defense. And also so is San Francisco. The Rams,
yeah.
the Rams have, I mean, they've got Ramsey to match up with them, but I mean, 4 games a year, you're going against your division guys that don't really have that great of a secondary unless they massively improve them over the offseason.
They traded a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL
For a running back who lost his starting spot
to a running back who hadn't
was
done
traded
shit
for a
the entire
6th round
year or his
pick.
entire career.
And an undrafted guy in Chase Edmonds. David Johnson was 3rd on that depth chart. And
And he had a fucking
Bill
10 or
O'Brien is a
11 million dollar cap hit.
joke.
He has a horrible contract. Let's just put this out there. Since Bill O'Brien's been there, all their best players, not named Deshaun Watson, have been and J.J. Watt have been traded.
Oh, it's so
Dwayne Brown,
embarrassing.
one of the better left tackles
Yes.
in the league, traded. Jadeveon Clowney, the dude that's about to break the bank in free agency, one of the top defensive ends in the league, traded. DeAndre Hopkins, top 3 wide receiver in the league, traded. Who am I missing? I think there was another big name
I'm not
guy.
sure, but yeah, I mean, will they let Tyrann Mathieu walk?
There you go.
I mean,
Fucking idiots, man.
they're just stupid.
I know.
He has way too much power.
Brought
there
in a
Houston.
running back when you just got 1,000 yards out of Carlos Hyde on a very cheap deal.
He did decline their offer. He did decline their qualifying offer,
Which was
but
what?
I don't know. He probably wanted too much money, but still, I mean,
But what I'm
David
saying is,
Johnson's
what was he
washed.
wanting? $6 million a
Who
year.
knows? I don't know exactly.
So
what the
you'd
number
rather
was.
pay David Johnson, who's been injury prone,
I'm on it.
who has
I'm
never
with you.
been in your system, who looks washed up, over a guy who just ran for 1,000 yards on your team,
Yeah.
and was probably asking for half of what David Johnson is about to be paid this year, and he would have got to keep your wide receiver.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. I think Bill O'Brien's a moron.
Well,
This just even
I'm
proves
so
how
glad he's
this
in the
even
AFC
proves
South.
how dumb he really is. I mean,
He tries to outsmart the room.
just into perspective, I mean, the Ravens, the Falcons, which are stupid too, just traded for Hayden Hurst for a second-round pick. I mean, but
that one I understood a little more. I would be pissed if it was my team that did it, but I understand a little more for the simple fact that this isn't a great tight end class.
No, it's not.
And
I mean, he was a first-round pick 2 years ago.
And
so, I mean,
Hayden,
he's still young.
He has upside, and his contract is way lower than what Austin Hooper would have demanded.
True.
So I get it from that perspective, but at the same time, I'd have been pissed off if my team.
I mean, the Texans are still. I think everyone saw the report from Peter King. I mean, he said the Texans are in draft hell. We outlined that a few weeks ago.
I know.
I mean, they have no first-round picks the next 2 years.
Wasn't that one of the teams I said I just can't figure out a game plan to get a Super Bowl?
We really couldn't figure basically a way for them even really to get back to the playoffs unless Deshaun Watson is just so awesome.
Bill O'Brien's showing you the exact opposite of what to do to win a Super Bowl.
I mean, this guy's just giving away his best players. I mean, I know it's a deep receiver class.
I started thinking about this.
You didn't get enough. You didn't get enough for him.
Fuck no.
You didn't get enough for DeAndre Hopkins.
Look how many bad trades have taken place recently.
From him.
Not only him. So he just had the horrible ones we just outlined. But like the Giants, when they traded, what did they give, a second-round pick for Leonard Williams?
Yeah, I think so.
Knowing
third-round pick, yeah.
They weren't going to win this year with him, and his contract was going to be up. And now you have to do something.
They tagged him.
Yeah, exactly. They had to because they couldn't afford him to let him walk. And then Yannick Ngakoue wasn't a trade.
He's probably going to get traded.
Who was the other one that there was a big trade for? I was thinking about this before we got on here, and now I'm blanking. Oh, Laramie Tunsil on the Texans.
Yeah.
They
made awful trades, the Texans. About their last 3 trades, they've got bent over about.
Agreed.
They've lost all 3 of those trades. Because I think Tunsil's a good player, but 2 1s and a 2... He's not that good.
No. And now you got to pay him like he's the top.
And only getting a 3 for Jadeveon Clowney and then giving up that 3
immediately
for Garyon Conley.
Trading Clowney.
Who was a bust free agent or a bust first-round pick. I mean, I guess I won't call him a bust yet, but he hasn't lived up to being a first-rounder.
Agreed.
Bill O'Brien's just a moron. Yeah, I feel so sorry for Deshaun Watson. Like you said, he's the next Andrew Luck. He's just going to get beat to shit. He's not going to get any talent around him. His defense is going to be horrible.
Think about who he's throwing to next year. You just traded away by far his best weapon. Now he's got Will Fuller, who cannot stay on the field.
No.
Who else?
Kenny Stills is their best receiver.
And he's 5'10", running around.
And he's a good number 2, 3 option. If he's your third best receiver, you have a stacked receiving core.
That's the thing. Kenny Stills is a deep threat. Deshaun Watson doesn't have time to throw to a deep threat with that offensive line.
Their tight ends suck. You love Kahale Warring, but the dude didn't even see the field this year.
Yeah, you got to wait. I forgot about that. Might be their saving grace next year.
Don't.
Kahale Warring, tight end. Just watch out for him.
Their defense is terrible.
Dude, it's aged. All you used to think about with the Texans were the offense got carried by that vaunted defense, J.J. Watt.
That's why they made the playoffs a lot with their bum quarterbacks before they got Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, all those guys. And the only one still there is J.J. Watt, and he's
like,
old.
what, 33 and has had 4 out of the last 6 seasons?
They're probably going to lose DJ Reader.
Yeah.
Which is a huge miss for them.
Yeah, it is.
He's a good player. So Houston might finish third in the AFC South next year.
Yeah. Depending on what the Colts do, they're still better than Jacksonville because Jacksonville's just another disaster.
For sure.
But, yeah, I mean, whatever the Colts do at quarterback, because, I mean, we'll just go there now. I'm done bashing Houston because they're just stupid. But the Colts traded their first-round pick for DeForest Buckner from the 49ers and immediately paid him, he's the second highest paid defensive tackle behind Aaron Donald. And I at first, I was just like, I felt like it was kind of a lot. But when I thought about it a little bit more, I was like, we were probably going to draft somebody there anyways at 13, most likely Javon Kinlaw if he was there.
It was him or Derek Brown. I kept telling you that Ballard was going to pick a defensive tackle.
3 technique. He's been preaching a 3 technique for
since he got
3
there.
years since he's been here.
And then this offseason, that's what he preached was basically we're not going to be elite until we find that guy because everywhere I've been, that 3 technique is exactly what's run the show.
So you're getting a good... He was a Pro Bowl guy, an All-Pro guy. He's a proven player. He's only missed 1 career game in 4 years. That's huge. That's amazing. As a defensive lineman, that's incredible. Yeah, he's proven. He's better than probably anybody you would have got.
Ballard loves traits. The dude's 6'7", beast of a freak look dude on the defensive line. He chases down. He gives his heart on every single play. He was the leader of that 49ers
He was
defense.
Voted the team MVP by the coaches last year.
So
on a Super Bowl team.
Ballard finally got his guy. They had money to spend. They had to spend it this year because of the 4-year whatever salary cap you got to spend like 80% or 90% of your salary cap over a 4-year span, and the Colts had so much they had to spend.
$82.5 million available this year.
Yeah, because the cap went up by $10 million.
Yeah.
So they're in win-now mode, and I think this points directly to Colts are signing Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I'm for it. You're against it, but I think Phillip Rivers still has some left in the tank, and I think this will be
very skeptical about it.
I think this will be the best team
But I think this a 1,000% makes their defense better, and the biggest need that the Colts had was pass rush. They had absolutely zero interior pass rush, and like I was telling you, interior pass rush has almost become as valuable, if not more, than outside pass rush.
I think we said that like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying this guy's Aaron Donald or Chris Jones, but you see the value that those guys have on their team. You saw the defense the Chiefs had once they got Chris Jones back. They were a completely different team once they got him back.
Jason Lockenfor called DeForest Buckner a top 3 interior.
I would probably put him behind Aaron Donald and Chris Jones.
But basically, one of the top 3 interior defensive game wreckers in the league.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you just watch him play for the past few years. I mean, he was a big part of the reason why the 49ers D-line was so damn good.
Agreed. Now imagine having DeForest Buckner kill 2 offensive linemen and Darius Leonard just flying right behind him to go attack the quarterback.
Well, and that's another thing. The Colts, since Freeney and Mathis didn't have a guy that commanded a double team on the defensive line. And in Mathis's later years, wasn't really commanding double teams either, and neither was Freeney.
Down.
Exactly. That's just what happens with age, and same thing's happening to Justin Houston. He's not a guy that you want to double really anymore or need to. So DeForest Buckner is a guy that they have that's a double team guy than they didn't have for a while. So
this is going to help so much for the younger guys on the outside like Kamoko Toure and Ben Banogu.
Yep.
2 guys that they're hoping take that next step and become that pass rusher on the outside with their athletic traits they came into the league with. This is only going to help everybody along that defensive line.
Well, I told you, I liked what Toure was doing before he broke his ankle against the Chiefs. He was arguably their best pass rusher in the first 4 games of the season.
Yep.
So
and I think they still have Sheard. No,
he's a free agent. Okay. I doubt they'll bring him back.
I doubt
they just cut
either.
Marcus Hunt, but this is filling the need that Marcus Hunt played in that position right there. So
love the move for the Colts.
Same.
I'm still in the Phillip Rivers camp, and I'm still on my preacher train of draft Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round and let him sit.
I don't mind that. I just at 34 now, I think the Colts probably go receiver.
Yeah.
At 34, which is the 2nd pick in the second round.
They could still get the receiver at 44.
I agree,
or whatever
but
pick they have.
They might. Well, that's probably their biggest need now outside of quarterback if they take Rivers, or if they sign Rivers, which I think that they will do. Again, I'm not really sold on that. I'm very skeptical about that. I just don't want to get my hopes up. Primarily is what it is.
I want them to sign Rivers and trade Brissett and draft somebody to sit behind him.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that makes the most sense if you're gonna rather sit behind Rivers than Brissett, a young quarterback, to learn. Because like I said, he's a guy that's been in the league forever. He knows what he's doing. So, but huge improvement for the Colts. I actually like it for the 49ers too, because the 49ers re-signed Armstead for 5 years at a little cheaper at about $17 million a year. And they acquired another top pick, which they didn't have many picks. They had 1 pick in the first round. They didn't have another pick until round 5.
Now I think they take that number 13 pick and go after the Florida corner and shore up a big need at defensive back.
I could see them going receiver there too.
The receiver's so deep, dude.
But again, they have 1 and 31, and not again until 5. So if they want to jump on their receiver at 13,
but they still have Kittle, Debo, Jalen Hurd, who didn't get to play last year. They still have a chance to re-sign Emmanuel Sanders if Emmanuel Sanders wants to play for them again, a contender. Yeah. I'm sure he liked being in Kyle Shanahan's offense, so that's still not off the board. I just think they
go receiver down at 13.
I think they go corner or defensive tackle again.
I think they either, if whoever's there, maybe neither of them will be CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy, but if one of those two are there, I think they jump on them.
All right.
Shit.
We're opposite there.
They could even Joe Staley's pretty old. They could even go offensive tackle if one of those guys is there at 13. I'm not saying that they will be, but I think that's another play for him as well.
Dude, there's a chance 5 tackles go in the top 12.
I know, a guy to sit and waiting if they're there behind Joe Staley, because they got McGlinchey on the right side, but, what do you see Joe Staley playing a year or 2 more, max?
Yeah, the dude's old.
Yeah, so that's another thing I could see him doing there. But, all right. Where else you want to go, Jay?
I don't.
The Vikings extended Kirk Cousins. I don't really think that's a huge surprise.
No, they invested so much in him. Cousins going to be. What
Titans. I mean, they re-signed Derrick. They franchise tagged Derrick Henry, and they also paid Tannehill.
Paid.
I told you he was going to get about $30 million a year.
Yeah, he ain't worth it. How you gonna give the
going
dude a
rate.
$100 million deal who got led by the running back behind him and then tag that running back and not pay him?
Well, okay, that's exactly what Tyrann Mathieu said. That's just that's the rate of a quarterback. First of all, that's
me and Tyrann are on the same page.
The quarterbacks get paid and the running backs don't. That's just the NFL, and you know that just as well as everybody. Derrick Henry is a guy who's got a lot of carries on him, a lot of mileage, whatever, but
he didn't have that much mileage, only like 24.
I mean, dude's had a lot of carries, and he had a lot of fucking carries at Alabama, too.
He split carries most of his entire career.
He had like 200 carries his senior year when he won Heisman.
Jonathan Taylor just had over 300 touches in one season. He had 300 touches.
I'm not talking about Jonathan Taylor.
3 straight seasons.
I'm talking about Derrick Henry, who's been in the NFL for 4 years.
And what I'm saying is 200 carries is not that much.
As well as 3.
And he split time in his first couple years with fucking Deion Lewis, and you'd be surprised at the actual amount of carries the dude's had.
I'm talking about college carries.
I'm talking college and pro.
All right. Well, you just talk while
I am. I'm looking at Gurley's on the trade block. I don't know who's going to give up what for Gurley's
his senior
contract.
year, he had 395 carries at Alabama.
Okay, so what about the other years? So he had 1 year where he had
35 and 172.
There you go.
So he had 200 carries in his first 2 years, but he had 400 as a senior or a junior. Because that was his third year. So
and then what about when he went in the NFL?
I'm going to his NFL stats now.
He was splitting a lot of carries his first year because everyone was like, why the hell isn't he even the starter with Deion Lewis? Gurley, I don't know who's going to trade for him at all. Bears are targeting Dalton or Foles via trade as their quarterback. They're out on Teddy Bridgewater.
Who was that?
The Bears.
They're out
I saw that the negotiations died down. It's unlikely that Bridgewater goes to the Bears, and now they're looking to trade for Dalton or Foles.
Okay, so he's had 804 carries in 4 years. So he had 110,
200 carries a year,
215, and then 300 in last year.
That's not that many.
No, and I'm just saying he's got a lot of mileage on him
and
over
he's
the past
huge.
few years.
If anybody can handle those carries, it's him.
But I'm just saying that's usually what happens is where the running backs don't get paid and the quarterbacks do. That's what happens.
But the drop-off at running back is like age 30. The dude's like 24, 25.
He's 26.
Okay, 26.
26.
So he's still got another 4 years before he even hits 30. And I think he just turned 26.
I mean, the Texans can tag him 2 more years and then just let him walk.
Which might not be a bad play.
All right, but the thing is, okay, I agree that he was a huge part of their offense. But before Tannehill took over with Derrick Henry, they were 2-4 with Mariota. So clearly Tannehill made a difference.
Agreed, but not.
And it wasn't just the Derrick Henry show.
Difference.
Maybe not. But I didn't say he was worth $30 million. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that get paid $30 million that are actually worth it, but that's a different story.
You had to do the top 10 quarterback.
I said borderline top 10. That's where you were trying to put words in my mouth the other day when we were talking about this. I said borderline top 10, and I said I didn't have a list right now, but he'd be up there. He'd probably be at 12 or 13, Tannehill would, if I was sat down and did a list.
I don't know how you say he's better than Dak, and me and you both think Dak is average.
I think
he's never had a better season than Dak.
Okay. All right, this was another thing that because Dak got tagged and a lot of people were pissed about it. But first of all, he got offered $105 million guaranteed and turned that down. So he's a dipshit for that. So I don't feel sorry for him at all because he was getting $33 million annually, which would have made him like the 4th highest paid quarterback.
Now he's about to lose his receiver.
guaranteed. So I just don't care. I just is dumb. He should have taken that deal, signed on the dotted line when he had the chance. So that offer may never be there again for him. But what we've been told for years. Doesn't matter what your stats are in the regular season. The regular season doesn't fucking matter. Dak's 1-2 in the playoffs, and Tannehill's 2-1. Career postseason. Dak is 1-2. Tannehill's 2-1.
So one more game.
Okay, but he's better. I don't care what his stats said. I know he didn't have that greatest stats in the first 2 games that they won the game, but neither did Tom Brady his first 6 years in the playoffs. But he's considered the greatest quarterback of all time.
Well, we both agree that Tom is not worth it.
But we're not everybody. And I've seen a lot of people saying Tannehill's not worth this, blah, 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 whatever. And they're all pissed about the whole Dak situation. But
I'm not pissed about it.
The
flat
out thing is he should have accepted that contract.
Him that much. That's what I think.
And they might. I'm not saying that he wasn't worth. Like I said, I think there's probably 3 or 4 quarterbacks that I'd be okay with paying $30 million more a year.
Yeah, and he ain't even close.
No, I didn't say that he was. Like I said borderline top 10. About 12 to 13 is where I would rank him right now in the league. But, I mean, now look at that division. The Texans got worse. The Colts, depending on what, if they do end up with Rivers, what he looks like, I think the Titans are the best team in that division.
Roster-wise, maybe. I don't know.
I like their coach.
And I
like their defense.
A homer if the Colts. I believe in Phillip Rivers. So if the Colts got Phillip Rivers and they just got Armstead and they can keep everybody healthy because they didn't really lose anybody that was
of value.
Exactly. And they still have more money to play with and some draft picks. I think what the Colts do this offseason, the Colts could be my favorite to go in the AFC South next year.
I could see the Colts competing for a wild card depending on what Rivers looks
now,
like. But
I would give the edge. Titans #1 in that division. Colts #2 because Houston just fucked everything up again.
Yeah. And Jacksonville's a mess.
And Deshaun has nothing to work with.
I feel sorry for Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun's great, but he's not
Tannehill.
good enough to compete with the two rosters that are at the top of the AFC South.
But I mean, the Titans, now that they've got their two best players on offense back, you still got A.J. Brown, you still got Corey Davis.
They lose Jack Conklin. I think
they
that's
will
a
lose
pretty
Jack
big
Conklin,
loss.
but I think they can replace him. Not with I don't know. I mean, depending on who they get in the draft, I don't know. I mean, they might.
One of those guys aren't going to be there where they draft. Are they going to take a flyer on like a Josh Jones from
or an Austin Jackson?
USC.
I mean, maybe those guys they put one of those at right tackle. Maybe they don't miss a beat.
We'll see.
I know. I think they obviously need to address their cornerback position as well defensively. But other than that, I like their D line. I think their outside pass rush needs help, but I like their linebacking core. And like I said, I love Vrabel. I think he's an awesome coach. I think he's a really good coach. So I think the Titans did well. I do. Yeah, I mean, they probably overpaid for the quarterback. But, again, like you said, everyone gets overpaid in free agency. Austin Hooper probably got overpaid. Kirk Cousins probably got overpaid. I mean, Kirk Cousins got paid more than Tannehill. You don't see anybody batting their eyes at that. Everyone thinks Dak's better than him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not getting the hate that Tannehill is for this some reason.
Lions just gave the Eagles offensive tackle. I don't even know how to say his
Vitae.
first name. Yeah, Vitae is his last name.
Vitae, yeah. Just say that.
They just gave him 5 years, $50 million.
Ooh.
Yeah, not worth it.
Wow.
To me.
They did lose Rick Wagner.
Yeah, but I'd rather have Wagner because he didn't get paid that much. I don't believe
from the Packers.
Green Bay.
No. The Packers, I think, actually made decent little moves.
They did. Finally got somewhat of a proven inside linebacker.
Yeah, I think Christian Kirksey's a good player. He wasn't healthy at all last year, but when he was healthy for the Browns, he was good.
And that's one of their biggest needs.
They got a discount at Rick Wagner, who's probably not that much worse than Bulaga. And Bulaga, again, he hasn't been available a lot for the past few years.
They can throw a couple draft picks now at pass catchers for Aaron Rodgers, and then
which they desperately need.
Could be scary next year.
I like the Raiders picking up Nick Kwiatkowski, the linebacker from Chicago. I thought
they got him on a good deal.
3 for $21. I thought that was a good deal because the Raiders linebacking core is atrocious. It's so bad. It's terrible.
It has been for
forever.
Years. They tried to get Rolando McClain.
Old ass Navarro Bowman after he had torn everything in his knee. Yeah. Are there any other?
That's why I'm flipping through here, and I'm not really seeing anything worth noting. Like I said earlier, the Bucs have communicated with Watson. It's going to be hilarious if they choose Winston. Sorry, not Watson. If they choose Winston again over Brady.
I told you we have a bet about Winston getting over 18 a year.
Yeah,
which I think he's going to.
Let's see. I
think Teddy Bridgewater. Well, all right. So where do you think Teddy Bridgewater's going now? Since
there's been a lot of talks he's going back to the Saints.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know it doesn't. I just think he believes. What's he doing?
That's
Go
true.
be a starter somewhere.
Agreed.
It sounds like he's okay with being a backup.
I mean, I haven't heard anybody's name on the Chargers.
I don't know if the Chargers want him. I don't think he's that much better than Tyrod Taylor, who's been in that system
I agree.
for a
I
year.
don't either. So I think they'd be fine with Tyrod and just drafting a young quarterback the Chargers would.
I don't think Teddy Bridgewater sells all these season tickets, which seems to be what the media says is huge on LA's wish list.
Yeah, they have no fucking fans.
So
none. They left them all in San Diego. And now all those San Diego people are pissed that the Chargers even left in the first place.
I saw that the Giants are going heavy on Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
If he goes there, he just wants the money. And not winning.
Uh-huh.
So,
do you think Leonard Williams is the worst player that's ever been tagged?
No, I don't. I saw that.
I saw somebody tweet that today.
He had like half a sack last year or something. Yeah. They had to tag him, first of all. And I still think Leonard Williams could be a good player. He's just been on the fucking Jets
and he didn't live up to being the 6th overall pick.
Yes. So give him to somebody decent, and I still think he has a lot of potential there. He's still like 24 years old, 25.
Yeah, he hasn't only been in the league, what,
couple
4 years? 5 years?
3?
I think it was 5. I think this was his 5th year because he was a free
No.
agent. He was a first-round pick unless his 5th option didn't get picked up. He's
That's
at least
true.
been in the league for 4.
He came in the same year as
What was it, 15?
he got pushed down the draft board. He was supposedly the best player in that draft class, and quarterbacks. Wasn't it the Josh Allen draft, or was it the year before that?
Josh Allen, this was just a Josh Allen 2nd year.
Yeah, I know, because he would have been in the league.
Leonard Williams, do the math, man.
Yeah, true.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to think who was in his draft class.
I don't know exactly, but
Was it the year that Winston?
maybe the Winston and
Goff
Mariota.
Wentz and Goff.
Oh, Wentz.
Carson Wentz and Jared Goff.
Maybe. It might have been the year before that.
Because both of them just got paid.
Might have been the 15 draft because, who knows?
Yeah,
It really doesn't matter anyways. He's a guy that exactly doesn't really push the needle.
But no, I wouldn't say he's the worst. I mean, I think a fucking kicker just got tagged.
I think.
He didn't get tagged.
They put a transition.
Yeah, they put a tag or they put a
tender on him. Rosas from the Giants. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the Patriots tagged Gostowski a few years ago. The 49ers just tagged Robbie Gould last year, so kickers have been tagged. Pat McAfee, he was really good at his position, but he was a punter who got tagged by the Colts. That was the last player that the Colts have ever franchise tagged. Since 2013, they haven't tagged a player.
But I mean, look at who's getting tagged this year. Anthony Harris got tagged by the Vikings.
Which,
I'm not
he
saying
was
he's a great or a bad player, but he's a basically reserve safety who
he was a starter. Well, and I think those PFF grades are a little weird and sometimes they're misleading, but he was the highest grade safety in the league this year.
That's awesome. I did not.
Him
see
and
that
Harrison
stat.
Smith were 2 of the top 5 graded safeties this year.
I think he got a lot of help from that pass
I
rush.
agree.
And Harrison Smith being able to roam
sure.
the entire field.
Well, that's something the Vikings, they cut Xavier Rhodes, which
and
was
Linval
needed.
Joseph.
Yeah, because I think Xavier Rhodes can succeed in a zone scheme. He just can't play man anymore. He just gets toasted by everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. He gets just absolutely roasted by all of them. So he can go play in like a Tampa 2 system or a cover 3. He can go play in like Seattle in their cover 3 scheme or whatever. He just can't man up guys anymore, which was what he was known for.
Here's a couple thoughts. Broncos just signed Graham Glasgow to a 4-year, $44 million deal.
There you go.
So
Up in
they
that
upgrade
line
their
for
offensive line.
Drew Lock,
Yep.
quarterback.
And then reports have said that Jadeveon Clowney's looking for around $21 million per year. So basically what
Buckner got
Buckner
paid.
just got. And
Which
Jets,
is still a little under Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack.
and the Jets have been in contact with him. So
The Jets desperately need pass rush, and that would help them because I think
and
they're going
the
to
defense
select.
they run would
I think
allow
they're going to
him-
select a tackle in the first round, and that would help them massively by just having to pay a proven guy defensively, and not have to worry about a pass rusher in round 1.
I think
and
they
a
run
tackle.
a scheme similar to what Houston used
For sure.
Jadeveon Clowney, where he'd be able to line up everywhere and just
Kind of
attack
like, I think Greg Williams would line Jadeveon Clowney up anywhere because that's their defensive coordinator, so he would line him up all over the place.
He'd be scary in their defense.
Yeah, he would. They just don't have anybody else that's good, really. Unless Quentin Williams pans out to be, which I still think he's a good player. But
See, didn't the idiot just get caught with a gun?
yes, he
at
brought a
an
gun to the airport. It
that
was
he
unloaded.
He didn't even
But
have
why?
a carry permit for.
Yeah, and just stupid. But
So we just got you caught up on the.
who are some more of the big names that are still out there?
Stephon Diggs supposed to be on the trade block because he had a cryptic tweet where
He's had like 7 in the past week.
but he just dropped one today
Seems
that
like-
said "time for a new beginning."
Yeah,
So like it sounds like he's on the move because and Glazer had said earlier that there were two big deals in the works that he knew of, but just couldn't say them yet because
I feel like one of them might be Ngakoue.
well, I think one of them was Buckner. I think
Could
he
be. That's
probably
possible.
knew about
Yeah.
that trade. So there's another one out there that he knows about. And Stephon Diggs just clearly hasn't been happy in Minnesota.
Even though he got the ball after he called out Kirk, he still clearly wasn't happy.
So Ngakoue's another one that they were looking to tag and trade. Foles and Dalton are still 2 quarterbacks that are proven in this league.
And the Bears are supposed to be interested in them.
Yep. Who else is big?
What about
I mean,
Chris
clearly
Jones?
Brady.
The Chris Jones was tagged. Do you think he's a guy that
No.
gets traded, or you think they keep him?
No, I think they keep him because they're trying to win another ring, and he was a huge part of that defense.
I think they keep him too.
So I
It's
think
the
they're going
smart
to keep
thing
him
to
and
do.
try and work out some sort of deal that's cap flexible for the team and works. And if not, they're just going to try and win this year with him, and then he's gone next year.
There were some big players that got cut. Devontae Freeman got cut. Desmond Trufant got cut for the Falcons. Both of those guys. We already mentioned the 2 Vikings players. Bud Dupree
Amari
was
Cooper.
tagged.
Let's talk about Amari. Where's Amari go?
I think he stays in
mentioned
Dallas.
Earlier.
I told you. That was my prediction from the beginning of the season. I said I think they tag Dak and sign Amari.
Yeah, but now Amari's
Halfway there.
available. They didn't get him signed. Now he can sign anywhere he wants, and there's so many
Yeah,
teams out
but
there
I
that can
think
pay more than Dallas.
I think Dallas is the team that's going to offer him the most money.
I just don't know how they can.
Well, they've got $73 million in cap space.
Do they?
Yeah. They got tons of money.
Because they didn't do the long-term deal for
Yeah,
Dak.
exactly. They've got, I mean, what was his number? 26? 23? Okay, 26?
I think it was
for
like,
the first year?
I think it was like 26.8.
Okay, so you still got $40 million left. A little more.
But
I mean, he was seeking
how the
18
do you
to
let
20.
Byron Jones go and keep Amari?
That's a big one.
There
I saw that
Where's he
the
going?
Eagles, the Raiders, and the Giants and the Dolphins were all interested in him. I think the Eagles sign him. I think the Eagles give him most money because that's it helps them and hurts the Cowboys. That's their biggest need.
They're a contender every year.
Yeah, as long as Wentz stays healthy.
What about Chris Harris?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think he'll get overpaid wherever he goes because I don't think he's as good as he once was.
What is he, like 32 now?
Yeah. Ooh. I don't know. I don't have a Miami. Since they got a lot of money.
They have a lot of need at corner, I'll tell you that.
And they got a lot of money too.
Yeah.
Washington, they seem like they overpay old guys.
Yeah.
They've got some money too.
I'm not sure where Chris Harris lands either, to be honest.
Nah.
He could end up just
I would
staying
say
in
Denver because of, I don't know.
Trying to think of what other big name guys are
Arizona. Shit,
Quarterback-wise, we kind of hinted at Teddy Bridgewater. I don't really know where he ends up. Reports now are that he's back with the Saints because what's his market going to be? The teams are already getting the quarterbacks that they want.
Yeah.
Clearly, Brady's on.
And I think some of the other teams are just really okay with drafting a young guy.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
I think the Bears were his best suitors.
That would have made the most sense.
Mm-hmm. That kind of. I
mean,
his
he would
arm outside in the weather.
He went to the Chicago and kicked the shit out of him when it was cold. So I mean, it didn't seem like it mattered much. But I mean, I think Jameis goes back to Tampa because I don't see Brady there. I don't see him wanting to go to Tampa.
I don't either. I just think he's going to the Chargers.
I think Jameis goes back to Jameis could go to. I doubt it, but Miami. I mean, Miami's got a lot of money.
Yeah, but I think they're
Chargers?
going for Tua. I just told you I don't know. Oh, Jameis. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could see Jameis going to the Raiders.
Yeah, I could too.
With Gruden.
Yeah. I think Gruden loved him coming out.
Are there any big running backs in free agency? Not really.
Who?
Running backs. The Ravens just tendered Gus Edwards, but he's not some big name dude.
That doesn't really
Carlos Hyde just had a 1,000-yard season, but he's not going to
I said, Devontae Freeman, but he hasn't been the same guy since
Nope.
2017.
I thought the Devontae Freeman might be a decent upgrade to the 49ers. I mean, he was his best with Kyle Shanahan. He knows how to use him.
Yeah, same with Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, and he would be able to be spelled instead of being the guy.
Yeah, for sure. With three guys, and man, it doesn't really seem like it matters who they put in
And
that
he's
system.
not going to get
there in
paid.
San Francisco.
He's not going to demand any money, so the 49ers should get him on the cheap. So I think
that's just crazy how weird the NFL is. I mean, he was just the highest paid running back like 2 years ago.
I think that'd be a good fit. Melvin Gordon. Where's Melvin Gordon going to go?
I saw the Dolphins were interested.
I saw that too, and I think that's kind of a good fit. He'd be the best running back they've had in a long time,
and he would probably get the most money there.
Agreed. And it'd give their whoever they put at quarterback some help behind him because
he's a good player.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. He hasn't lived up to what everyone thought he was going to be coming out of college, but he's not bad.
No,
he's still. I get that the Chargers' offense went backwards when he was in, but I think that was more the scheme and what Eckler was able to do in that offense.
Eckler was just so much better at what they needed him to do.
Their offensive line was bad, and Gordon is a running back that runs up the middle. He
Yes.
needs a good offensive line in front of him.
Agreed. Yeah, so I think Melvin Gordon can help a team.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be good for a young quarterback in Miami who their running backs suck. I mean, they traded away Kenyon Drake, who succeeded in Arizona. Kalen Ballage has not been the guy who we both liked him out of Arizona State. We thought he was going to be really good, but that hasn't panned out well.
Who's the other guard? Scherf got tagged.
Yeah. The Dolphins just actually paid Eric Flowers.
Yep. And Shaq
Lawson. Two okay moves.
Yeah, they didn't dish out a whole lot of money, so I heard from multiple reports before that Shaq Lawson could be one of the most undervalued free agents in this class. So maybe he'll live up to his hype finally.
I mean, he had 6.5 sacks last year. That was the most he'd ever had.
Yeah, which still isn't a lot.
No, it's not.
Especially on a
But he was. I don't think he was a starter.
Linebackers, this isn't a great linebacker class.
No,
it's not. Two of the top guys have already signed.
Justin Simmons got tagged at the safety position. It's not it's not a deep safety class. It was really just
There's a couple good corners, like Trey Waynes, I think's a free agent, some underrated. Bradley Roby re-signed with the Texans. I believe.
It was really just a big quarterback market.
And pass rusher, but all of them got tagged.
Yeah.
So you got Clowney, who we don't really know.
Clowney's the only one that didn't get tagged.
I think Clowney's going to want the bag and not the team. So
agreed.
The Jets or the Giants.
He hasn't got his big payday.
No. Yeah, I'm going Jets or Giants sign Clowney.
So we'll see. I think in the next few days, I think the league new year officially starts on Wednesday at 4, I believe it is. But, I mean, that's when these contracts come official. But I think you'll see a lot more stuff happen in the next few days.
And trade-wise, too.
Yeah.
I think like a guy like Ngakoue to be traded, Stephon Diggs to be traded, possibly OBJ to be traded.
I like these big trades.
I do, too.
I like that the NFL is actually getting more into trades than it ever used to be.
Agreed, because there were rarely ever big-name guys involved in a trade.
No. Yeah, it was like once in a blue moon.
One every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it was weird because teams just got taken advantage of, and they learned and didn't want to make those mistakes. But, hey, just call Bill O'Brien and try and get J.J. Watt for a washing machine or something.
You might be able to.
Like a 7th-round pick and
I read something
free
today
jerseys
that
for
said,
a year.
The Colts should try and trade for Deshaun Watson since everybody's everybody's available at this point.
He might be the only guy they wouldn't trade, but I could see him trading anybody else at this point.
It's just
Jesus. Yeah. All right. But if that's all you got, Jay, we'll get out of here.
All right. Let them know about YouTube.
We're on YouTube now. So if you don't listen to podcasts or you don't want to listen, you can listen to them on computer through YouTube. Just have us up. You do your work, whatever. We're on there. Just check it out. Just type in Unwanted Opinions. We're there. You'll see Jay and I's logo. And
the little subscribe button.
You can check that out. Subscribe. You get alerted when we've got new episodes out. Same thing with
some comments on there.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. We're on all these platforms.
Request questions to be talked about on the show on any of them.
Yeah. You can, like Jay said, subscribe. You can leave ratings. You can leave reviews. Primarily on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But, hey, hit us up. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Unwanted Opinions with Nick and Jay. We're on all those platforms. We're very interactive. So
Nick's out here gaining followers on Twitter.
If you reach out to us, man, we'll reach back. Email, unwantedopinionpodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, there's many ways you guys get in touch with us if you want to. So we're out there.
All right. You good with it?
Yeah, I am.
Until next time.
Until next time.